Hello. It is me. I'm back. After quite the Gemini season. Um, so, I just recently, also shout out to this hair, right? Anyway, just had to say that. Um, I recently, by recently, yesterday, I got this book, Hellenistic Astrology by Chris Brennan. And I've been like listening to his podcast for I think since January actually. So it's been like 6 months. And his main thing is Hellenistic astrology, and he'll bring on other types of astrologers onto the podcast. But this book obviously is on Hellenistic astrology, and like a lot of people who begin getting into like Hellenistic or more like ancient forms of astrology, um, a lot of us start with modern astrology, which is like kind of sun sign astrology. That tends to be the entry point. And ancient astrology is just very different. And something that comes up with um, ancient astrology, but I'm mostly speaking to Hellenistic. I'm not speaking to all forms because I just don't know, but I'm sure this probably does apply. Um, is there's this the issue of free will tends to come up, and I haven't started this book yet. Like I have, but I read like the foreword, and so I know there's like chapters in this book talking about free will, but before I read the book, I kind of wanted to just like spitball and give my own thoughts on free will and how it relates to astrology, because I was first introduced to astrology in 2019, and it was definitely more that modern approach to astrology, and just began looking at more traditional forms of astrology, more ancient forms of astrology, starting this year. So it's just funny because like I wanted to get good at astrology, and I wanted to learn how to be very specific, rather than having astrology feel too generalized. But as I began learning more about Hellenistic astrology, it's like, yes, things are way more specific now, but then this concept of, or this issue of do we have free will begins to come up, where you can look at very specific things in people's charts, to indicate certain aspects of their life, certain events that happen, how their love life is going to go, how their money is going to be. And I kind of just don't know where I am like sitting with all this right now. And I definitely need to think about it. But I feel like this is probably something that comes up for all astrologers at some point, where it's like, this is what we're seeing, this is what the planets are doing, but how much agency do we have? And when it comes to free will, like, this is how I feel right now. I feel like actually having free will doesn't really matter that much. Um, like, as long as we have the illusion of free will, like, as long as it feels like we have free will, I don't think it matters if we do or not. Like, we just need to feel empowered in our lives. We need to feel a sense of agency. So, I feel like sometimes when, like, I feel like some people, if they were to hear that we don't have free will, it's kind of like, well, why would I do anything? But it's kind of like, and I need to learn more about astrology and dive deeper. But from what I understand, our sense of agency can even be indicated in our natal charts. So it's like, whether or not we feel empowered or we feel like we have like agency over our life can already be baked into that chart. So it's just challenging. It feels like kind of this like mental loop you can go on where it's like, I can't really reach a conclusion here. All I know is that ultimately I'm always going to be trying my hardest, and I'm always going to like I don't want to give up, like, give up on life, but like, I want to keep trying, and like, I feel like that's all that matters. So look, like, astrology to me currently in this moment feels more of like a tool for validation. I feel like I really enjoy it for looking at things that have happened in retrospect, or like kind of like mental states and whatnot that I've been in, or ideas I've had. I like looking at astrology for the validation for certain qualities I might have or certain things that have happened. But I don't. I'll wait for that track to pass. I don't want to approach astrology in a way where I don't feel empowered. But is that just my ego talking? I don't know. It's challenging to say. But yeah, I just feel like this is something I'm probably gonna have to grapple with, and I don't know if I'm ever going to come to a conclusion of like whether or not like free will can neatly fit into astrology, because it's specifically ancient Hellenistic astrology that I'm looking at, and that is what I'm really drawn to. So it's like I feel drawn to this for a reason, but I don't want to feel not empowered at the same time. So yeah, and also like when it comes to like ancient astrology, again, I'm using that big umbrella term, but there tends to be like the way ancient folks would use it. It was definitely used for predicting things that would happen. And I don't know if maybe that's something I'll feel more comfortable doing with time, but for me, it's like if I am expecting something to happen and it's always on my mind, it's like, that's kind of stressing me out. Like, it's kind of making me anxious. So I'm like, is that doing more harm than good? I don't know. It's like maybe I need to get to a place where I've studied what has happened in retrospect enough times where I am comfortable doing the predictions in a way where it's like, this is what could happen, but like, I don't need to be like anxious about it. I don't know. So yeah, those are my current thoughts on astrology, free will, fate. I'm very excited to read this book. This book is freaking huge. It's like, how big is it? Well, including the glossary here, it's already 600 pages. So, yeah, I'm also getting Demetri George's book. I already forgot the name, but it's the one on planetary condition. But yeah, I don't really know. I know there's so many people that have already made videos on this. I could probably watch their videos, but I do like sitting and fleshing these ideas out on my own. So yeah, I think I just need to sit with it more. I need to continue to learn. I need to see how I feel after reading this book and reading Demetri George's book and whatever other books come my way. Because I mean, there's no way I think for me to definitively say we have free will or we don't, because like, who am I? But just something to stew on. All right, gonna end the video here.